My name is Stephen Lang. I'm a freelance journalist based here in Makana. My concern is around isolation valves. We often hear when there's been a burst pipe that because of non-functioning isolation valves, a large part of town doesn't receive water. I wonder if you could speak to us about that and say what's happening, about the problems with the isolation valves, or with the people that are managing the isolation valves, or what is the real issue there?
Thank you. Number two.
Sipa from Newsroom Africa. It's open to anyone to respond to. I think, Mayor, when you said the infrastructure, some of the infrastructure, excuse me, the water infrastructure and so on, I'm assuming you're also talking about the water infrastructure in Makanda when you say it's aged over the years. It's because there's been money that has been put in. Money that has been put into the water treatment plants, hence the SIU is doing investigations currently on a number of projects by the municipality. So I'm just trying to have an idea of then what happened then to the funding. Did it go to where it was allocated, which is upgrading the water treatment works? Because currently, even now, what is it? Is it the James Kleinhans water treatment? It's still like that. And then also the second part is the Belmont Valley, the sewage, the wastewater treatment works upgrade. That was supposed to have been completed, if I'm not mistaken, in April last year. How far is that project and what are the delays?
Thank you. Number three.
Good afternoon to you all. My name is Abongile Yandiswa from the SABC. Executive Mayor, I understand that you highlighted some of the plans you have in place to bring the city into a better place. But on Wednesday, there are residents and formations who are planning a much update service delivery here in Makana. You may have these plans in place, but the residents seem to be, a lack of better word, fed up with the promises and the lack of service delivery thereof. Kindly take us through what do you say to these residents who seem to be fed up?
Thank you. I will give you number four.
Good afternoon. It's Yandiswa from Municipality. The executive mayor made mention of the construction of RTPs that are taking place in places such as Upper and Lower Manji, Eurasia, and Karani. I'd love to know what exactly is the criteria that is used for the allocation of these RTP houses.
Thank you. Number five. Concord.
All right, thank you, sir. My name is Vuyo Vujavula from Bogotane. So I'm just going to start and say, this is not a question, it's just a statement. Your invitation mentioned something about extreme changes to the municipality when you invited us. I'm not sure if that's still coming or maybe was the municipality's way of enticing us and exciting us about this press meeting. Maybe, because it does say to address key issues pertaining to extreme changes in the municipality. Maybe that's service delivery changes. Okay, but now to my questions. One is, I think, linked to the SABC's question about the march on Wednesday. My sources tell me the Human Rights Commission is coming to Makana tomorrow. I don't know if the municipality is aware of that. It's part of preparations for the march. That's what my sources tell me. You can comment on that. But my main question is not to do about today's briefing and talk. It's about Ms. Kaga, the Budget and Treasury Office. We reported last week that Ms. Kaga is facing charges, serious charges, stemming from her work as accounting expenditure officer at the municipality between 2013 and 2017. Now, we know that she works at Makana Municipality as it is now, occupying the same occupation. She's account expenditure officer here. We did the story, we published the story, but the one question that was never answered by the municipality was the DA, the local DA, question is, has the municipality done that? The municipality answered some of my questions as to when she was operating in 2022. The charges came up now in 2020, late 2024, early 2025, last month. So the municipality has this employee in its midst. I would like to find out if has the DA asked been placed on precautionary suspension or not. I'm glad that the CFO is acting as the municipal manager in this meeting because then she holds two positions. She can answer as the municipal manager and the CFO. My question is that, is she going to be suspended? Is she going to carry on working for the municipality? Maybe she has been suspended.
Thank you. We move on to the last hand, number 6.
My name is Susan Lola and I'm from College Community School of Journalism. To the executive mayor, you mentioned like that you experienced like bust of water pipes, and if I remember correctly, even last year you mentioned this issue. My question is, why don't you like prioritize changing the pipes altogether instead of fixing what is broken now, so that the water will like come out? Yeah, there will be like no issues when it comes to water. Why don't you change the water pipes altogether to stop the inconvenience to the people of Makana? And also, what are your top priorities for this year when it comes to service delivery for the city of Makana? Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions for this round. I'm going to hand over to the panel to respond.
Thank you very much, Anele. I am here with the directors as well, so they will be responding in particular on the technical questions, and myself and Speaker and the acting MM will all going to respond. So I'm going to request the acting director to start, Mr. Dungu. No, it's fine. You can proceed. You can come, Mr. Tungu.
No, it's not.
You are fine then.
It's not functioning. And a project, I think people can.
Yeah.
No, thanks. I think for the questions. I'm Makaya Dungu, the acting director, Chemical Services. I've been seconded again by COCTA, Cooperative Governance and International Affairs, to assist the municipality. The first question is in relation then to isolation valves, and it is correct. The mayor did allude then to the fact that there's quite, this particular town is quite very old, and we've got quite a old infrastructure, and we've got valves, and some of them have seized, and therefore some you can't even then close them. And that is why in most instances we had then to isolate quite a huge portion then of town because of that. But in terms of what are we doing then about it, I can safely then say then that we've got a project currently running, and that particular project we are replacing the old infrastructure, which is the old pipes, and I think that's a question then from the scholar from Rhodes. And that particular project is currently running at the present moment as we speak. In the last financial year, we had done as well as another portion then of the infrastructure. I also want them to make them to understand then that we've got, on terms of infrastructure, especially water pipes, we've got around about 400, over 400 kilometers of pipeline that we have then to replace. And funding is not something then that is readily available. As much as we are getting then some money then from the Department of from COCTA, which is Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, and so we are dealing then with it on stages. Another thing then I thought I should then probably mention is that Department of Water and Sanitation, they've also assisted us on terms of ensuring then that we change then some of these valves. That is in the form of the water conservation and demand management. And I think you've seen, and I think when you went out, we've got quite a number of leaks, and the mayor did then allude to the fact that we've got about 3 deaths on average per day. And we're doing and we're fixing deaths, while in the other areas we are still then waiting then to ensure that we replace those particular pipes. So I thought I should then probably mention that. I think the issue then in terms of the JK on terms of the infrastructure. That particular plant, Mayor did then allude then to the fact then that it is a plant then that is upgraded. So in other words, now the actual supply, we have then doubled that particular supply, just to make sure then that people then are getting water. So I think those are the issues. I thought I should have mentioned best pipes and change of pipes, and I think I've answered the question. I think that's about it. I think probably these isolation valves, the current project is also, we are also then putting isolation valves. The one where we are dealing then with replacing then the infrastructure. So there are new valves then that we are putting as we then doing then that. So I think those are the issues then I think from my side. Belmont wastewater treatment works, yes. That particular project, at the end of March, we are reaching what is called the practical completion. That particular project is a sewer refurbishment. It's a live sewer. So whilst we are working, we still have an effort to make sure then that we treat them the sewage. Problems then that have then affected us. One is obviously the issues then that relates to inclement weather. The other one then is that because it's a refurbishment, as we are replacing and we are finding then a number of issues then that are still then that are not functioning, and we then through then the agent, which is the consultant then that is working then on our behalf, we have then had them to extend then the completion date because of the issues then that are on site, which are genuine issues that we found. I think it's in any contract where there are contracts, we will then give the contractor and we discuss, and hence then in these particular issues we've got what is called the penalties that we apply then to the contractor. Should then the contractor then not finish that then on time. So those are the issues, and those are contractual matters and that we're dealing then with. And by the end of March, the particular project will reach then what is called practical completion. Practical completion then means then that particular project then is going to work whilst then we are dealing then with other snags and we look at other snags. So that's the program at the present moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Acting Director. Director Kwasa, on the RDP beneficiation and criteria.
Thank you so much, Executive Mayor. Good afternoon to the media, to the leadership. My name is Natasha Kwasa, Director, LED Planning and Housing in Makana. So the question in relation to the criteria for the RDP houses, how do we qualify, is that within a household per month, the income in that particular household must not reach more than 3,500. In addition to that, the owner that is then applying for an RDP house must be a South African citizen, and also the individual must not have benefited from a subsidy anywhere else in the country. So if I was working in Cape Town, for an example, and I did benefit through a subsidy and got an RDP house there and relocated back to the Eastern Cape because now I've done working in the Western Cape, I will not be able to qualify for that RDP house because I've already benefited. And then also, the individual must then be a first-time homeowner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Director.
No, thank you very much, Executive Mayor. I think, simple. We need to put things into proper perspective so that everyone can understand. The money that was allocated for James Glenard to assist Makana on the bulk infrastructure was not the money deposited to Makana Municipality. It was the money that was deposited to Department of Water and Sanitation and sent through the implementing agency called Amadola. We even responded even from Hawks or SIU. We had a tripartite agreement with them. We are just a beneficiary in that agreement. So there's not even a single cent deposited to Makana. Remember, the department has a responsibility to respond on bulk infrastructure. And Makana has no capacity to deliver such work. So we have never, ever received money for that bulk infrastructure as this institution. That is the perspective that I'm referring to. From now on, it must be very clear. We've been raising this It used to be 500 and something million that has been spent, and we are actually putting it, and you were not wrong to raise it because you were not always consistently coming to our briefing. Yes.
No, I've never been invited to briefings. I've been reaching out to your
Sure, sir. Sure. Okay, thanks.
So that's why I'm saying.
Thank you.
We wouldn't have known.
Okay, thanks for that. Now, where is the other money that is allocated for grants? In the context of National Treasury and National Government, there's what is called Division of Revenue, DORA. There's no grant that does not have condition. So if you are given money for MIG, you are given money for TWIFs in terms of the other, SOA and so forth. The province, they've got a responsibility in Makana to make sure that money goes to where it's supposed to be. Condition means you cannot use for any other things. You must use for what it has been allocated for. And I can assure you, you can go through, in terms of our books, we have not deviated to use the money that is allocated for grants for operational purposes in terms of paying other things, such as salary. And we have been at least a municipality that has been recognized in the whole province in terms of spending those grants accordingly. Yes. You can check from the Department of Court. Ask Makana, where are they in terms of the spending? Leave other things. Just make your own. Don't be informed about what I'm saying. Make your verification. In Sarabatman, we're number one municipality that is spending. I'm not talking about the province around that. So, as a Speaker of the Council, I will never allow any of this department to use money outside what it's supposed to be. Because the bus stopped to this council, and I'm the chairperson of it. We will never allow that. I think Abongil, SAPC. There's a Wednesday. There's a march coming. On my other capacity, I'm the chairperson of Section 4 Committee. Section 4 Committee is a subcommittee of the petition, which is responsible for petitions and march within the jurisdiction of Makana. I sat with the group, they've made this application. It's free. You can see it. This application, it talks about 100 plus people. It's here that are marching, and they are demanding the minister. And I've approved it for 11 to 1 o'clock. I've approved it because they've met all the requirements of the application. And that is an event. It's just an event coming. It's not only this application that normally comes to my office. They always come. And if they meet the requirement, we always approve it. Interestingly, today, they are sending a statement that the march that is coming on Wednesday is going to bring people from Port Elizabeth. It's going to bring people from Komani and surrounding. I've got a statement I can share now. It's coming from them. So we are not concerned about the national project because it's no longer about Makana. We're all over making sure that indeed you can see what we're talking about. So it's not going to deviate and stopping us in terms of day-to-day programs of the institution. We're at work now. Nothing's stopping us. Tomorrow we'll be at work. On Wednesday we'll be at work. Thursday we'll be on work. Friday we'll be on work. So that group of 100 plus, it's our residents. Was the question, what exactly are you saying to those people? The mayor will respond to that. But I was responding on this part of Wednesday, there's this much. Yes, we approve that much of 100 plus. But once it exceeds what is not on the application that has been granted, it's inviting other things, of which I'm not at liberty to say what are those things. Because we approved a match based on the application. We never approve much for people from Queenstown. We have not approved much for people from Port Elizabeth. I will forward to you or answer, send a statement to them of the organizers of the march. So that march, if you think that is for Makana, it's not. It's a national project. Let us not waste too much time on it. Then the other issue that I wanted to raise, the human rights, they have not applied for much. If they say they are coming here preparing for the march that is coming, on the application there's nothing that talks about the human rights. So we are not aware of that. By the way, my office is also responsible for Chapter 9 institution. They're supposed to report to my office because I'm responsible for oversight and other things. When public protector comes, the first person that they check my office. All the Chapter 9 institutions, they're supposed to work with me as the speaker. So if they have been lobbied for the preparation of the march, that on its own, it says another thing that I won't be able to say at this time until it's proven. But to answer you, we have not been actually given any notice that related to human rights. Now, the DA councillor, Mr. Mjabula, oh, by the way, changes, it's what we were coming from. Yes, the notice was inviting you to know that change is coming. It is. We have answered that question. There's not going to be a business as usual here. So the changes, it starts from where we're coming from to see that the community of Makana have changed. It's a changed city. We're driving that program. We're not going to stop. Changes talk to the restructuring of the mayoral committee. We have not called the media and tell them the mayoral committee has been restructured. They are different, but they have changed. They have been changed. The executive may have made that change. So generally, it's part of the change. Now, the DA councillor wrote to the MM and wrote to me to ask the municipal manager to put the lady who was actually charged by Hawks in respect with the previous work. They also wrote to me. But the funny part about the whole thing, you got all these things, but you don't get a response from the municipality. I want to know why. Is it because you don't get response from the municipality? Just for the second thought, so that you don't allow other political parties to have their own free lunch as if we're not existing. We've been watching this thing of not being, taken through about our own local paper, historical paper that we love, mostly. However, we must be very careful. This is not the first thing that happened in the municipality. I'm not going to divulge the name, and you're aware. There was one manager in the municipality who was charged by Hawks who was coming from the other municipality. And even the paper, Grogots in that time, was pushing. This person has been, charged, is corrupt, and so forth. That person left the municipality, was working at infrastructure. You know the person that I'm talking about. And that person won the case when there was a pressure that suspend this person. There's what is called, in the true sense of human and law, the natural justice. You cannot conclude without getting the other side of the other person in terms of what has happened. And the process of charging, it cannot be subjectively, because the honorable court will actually give the determination in terms of what has happened. It was a serious interference to councillors to speak on matters that are under Section 54A and Section 56, which is not in their competence. We are responsible for directors and MM advising, and it's opportunistic for them to do that, because they ask us to respond from the level of the council, and the council is only sitting on the 28th, but they quickly go to the media to respond on that issue. So we must tread very carefully to infringe the other rights of other people, because the constitution of this country, at least it protects its citizens at all material time, because it is the best constitution ever that we have. It does not play partial, it's always open eyes of impartial at all material time. This is where we are in respect with that matter. And if the matter is actually, maybe we should also put this, because the narrative outside that we have employed criminals and so forth, and they've been employed. Strategically, we have brought the CFO to be here deliberately, because most of the noise is also happening aligned with him. Deliberately, just to show you the truth of what is currently happening, perpetrated deliberately to drive a particular narrative which is going to be negative for the municipality. We are not going to tolerate any corruption in this municipality. And we have been always encouraging people, if there's any corruption, report that to Corruption Watch, report that to any institution that can be able to follow these things. And the matter of SIO is still investigation, so don't prejudice other people. You cannot wait for the final process of that. That process is going to come back, and we are going to also table that to the council on the 28th. I think, Mayor, let me then pause on that one.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I think most of the questions have been responded to. I'll talk to, I'm not going to talk on the march, but just to say, as Makana Municipality, all the promises or all the reports that we have been presenting to our communities during our stakeholder engagements, mayoral imbizos, we have delivered, and some are still in the pipeline. If the community is marching because we're making empty promises, that is not true. All that you have seen, it's what we've been preaching in our meetings, and all that we have been reporting on is happening. When we're talking about a changing city, all that work that you have seen there was not there. Was not there. This is us acknowledging that yes, Makana is coming from a state where it was losing its image, but now we're reclaiming that image. We are a changing city because there is a lot of development that is coming. Our road infrastructure, there are a lot of programs. There is a program that is currently happening of the upgrading of all informal settlements. We have about 24 informal settlements. And all those informal settlements, there is a program that has already started of upgrading those informal settlements. Tomorrow we'll be handing out the wheelie bins to those informal settlements. The contractor is already on site for the access roads. So those are the programs that were not there. That's where the change is coming from. We are talking about the high mast lights that will be done now in April. And that was not there. Currently, our community at night, you'll see it, it's very dark, which is emanating from cable theft. We fix a light now, 2 days down the line, that light is off because of a cable theft. Hence, we are talking about a changing city. Because now it's going to be Ilima, where we'll be dealing with high mast lights across Makana Municipality, including the surrounding areas. That is a change. We are talking about roads in town. We are talking about developing or rehabilitating our CBD center so that we can attract more investors. That is a huge change. It's a city that is changing. We are talking about the housing development that is in the pipeline, and also the bulk infrastructure programs that are in the pipeline, which are going to open a lot of development opportunities and will attract investments. That is a huge change in Makana. For people that have been here, people that are staying in Makana, and even the people that are protesting, they all what we are talking about, they are aware. As for why are they protesting, we don't know, because we have an open door policy where everyone is allowed to come and raise any issues, where we'll report to people and give them an update. We meet with people through stakeholder engagements, mayoral imbizos, public meeting, or some communities will request through the office of the speaker for us to go and address them. So we are continuously engaging with communities. So that is the change that we're talking about in Makana. including the internal changes where we are strengthening our strength as the municipality internally in making sure that we are equal to the task. That is a lot of change. So that's where we're talking about a big change coming, which is coming. All that we have reported here, 6 months down the line, when you come down to Makana, you'll see all that will be happening. There will be more construction sites, more than those that you have seen. Yeah, I think we have responded to all questions that were raised. However, let me take it back to you, Anele, if there are any follow-up questions. Oh yeah, I think Mr. Dungu responded on that one. Why are we not changing pipes? It's coming from roads students, where she was saying, why are we not changing? Why are we spending money on fixing them instead of changing them? Mr. Dungu said earlier, we have about 400 kilometers of our pipe system infrastructure that needs to be changed. When we're talking about water challenges, as we have said earlier, that Minister handed over the program where they were increasing bulk water capacity. So now the problems is irreticulation. That's where the problems are. So it's about 400 kilometers that needs to be refurbished, and we don't have that kind of money. Hence, I was saying in my statement that it needs serious injection. What we have now is what we are currently doing in phases, where we're saying the replacement of asbestos, it's in phase 3. Phase 3 is about to be completed, then we'll be going to phase 4 and fixing dealing with the best pipes, fixing them as they come. Otherwise, we would love to get money for that. I think we are done. I don't think
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I said 2 rounds, so yeah. So I'm just gonna give you an opportunity to ask follow-up questions. I'm gonna take hands again for follow-up questions. This is the final round. Can I take hands? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hands. Okay. I'm going to hand over to the panel again apologies. Number 1, Sipa.
Okay, well, I think I've just been asked by my colleague that maybe I should do it as an interview because I do have a 5 o'clock live crossing.
Okay.
So maybe we can do someone. But I just also want to emphasize something to the speaker. Speaker, we have been trying, I think this is the time for us to speak up. We tried to get a hold of the municipality. Okay. We're not just going around doing stories without the municipality's voice. Right? There's the one time that you and I had a fight about because you felt as though I ambushed, right? But from there on, I have been asking and sending messages early in advance, only for one time to get you and be turned back while we were here. Yes? Yes. So I think the municipality also needs to look inside itself and not think that the media is after themselves. Because if we come and we request for a comment and you're not available, whatever narrative goes out, the people that came forward to speak to us, they're saying their piece. And if the municipality doesn't want to speak, then it's not on us because we come here countless of times. And I think there was one of the communications lady. We were here. No one told us that it's been postponed or whatever. We got here and we were told, oh, by the way, Abaseko Municipal Manager asked us to Tetanan. And we had a live crossing at that time. And it's not going to look good. So that's what I'm saying is that you also need to look inside the municipality.
Okay. I'm not going to respond on that, but I think it's something we need to engage in because I feel it's an exaggeration, but we will discuss it. So you're not asking questions?
No, I'm going to take a live crossing.
All right. Yes. Number 3?
I just want
they said they're going to do.
No, I just want the executive mayor to get a comment here.
Okay. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah, you can do it now. Yes, then.
After. Yeah. All right. Let's take number 3. Then we'll do the rest afterwards. Number 3. Number 3. We'll pass on this again.
Oh, sorry. The executive mayor mentioned. Oh, sorry. My name is Malekula. I am from Council. The executive mayor mentioned
Thank you. Number 4. We have 5 hands, so then my number 4 covered. Hey. Okay, if you don't have questions, then okay, so we're done. Okay, he's like number 4.
I want to find out at what point do we stop counting back as to how old the municipality is. I mean, constantly, that's always the starting point where we look back at how we are the oldest town, with the oldest infrastructure that is the oldest town, as if this is supposed to now make us feel that nothing has been happening since, when we can say, or rather look at what the municipality has been doing in time that the municipality has been active to change and upgrade all the infrastructure that is from way many years ago.
Thank you. Last one.
Thank you. So, just to clear things up, the change question, I might have misunderstood it, but it's clear. I think you guys have cleared it up, so I'm leaving that on that. But I do have to say, this is my final question, I do have to say, maybe it's a direct response to the speaker, but I don't want to start the dialogue either. Robert's May doesn't push agendas, we don't push narratives, we do journalism. And journalism is about facts. And the factual thing that I asked earlier was whether the Ms. Nganga Isco has been suspended or not, as per the call from the TA. From what the speaker, from the speaker's response, I take it, or I took it to mean she has not been suspended, she's not going to be suspended. I just wanted to get that clarity so that when I leave this meeting and this briefing, I know what the answer is. Is she going to be suspended or not? Can I get a clear answer?
Thank you, Mbali. I have another follow-up.
Sorry, just based on what he was asking, particularly pertaining to someone who is now employed in the municipality after having a case hanging over. What are the prerequisites when it comes to that? What are the verification processes when the municipality is now going to recruit someone that lived a different municipality with a dark cloud hanging over their head? What aspirations would you think would be different coming into the municipality?
Thank you. All right, I'm going to hand back over to the panel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mjugula. I'm going to request CFO to start with the responses, starting with the communities that are owing the municipality, and then we'll come back.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Good afternoon, Program Director and media houses, and also the municipal leadership and colleagues. On the 750 million that is owed by residents, the municipality, I think the Executive Mayor has alluded that we are in a program of changing our meters, both electricity and water, in a way to ensure that we collect all monies that are owed to the municipality. We are putting smart metering systems across Makana municipality. I don't want to say it Makanda because we are going across to ensure that all residents that are owing the municipality, they pay their dues. But whilst the program is continuing, we are also disconnecting communities that are not paying. We do issue letters of demand, and if you have not responded, we then start with the disconnection process. In that way, we want to ensure that the municipal debt is recovered. I think, Executive Mayor, allow me to just pass the issue of saying, whilst Makana is an oldest town, it therefore requires the infrastructure upgrading that needs a substantial amount of money. The grants for Makana are very minimal to respond to the town that we are talking about. Makana is receiving around 29 million in the upcoming year. Currently, we are receiving 27 million, and 27 million cannot make a dent to change the old infrastructure of this town. So hence, it is done in phases. I would refer to the aging asbestos and the roads that are being done, because those are done out of the municipal infrastructure grant. And 29 million, it does not make a huge difference in Makana. The issue of Ms. Mgangatho, yes, Ms. Mgangatho is not under suspension. She is still in office. I think the Speaker has alluded, Executive Mayor, to the fact that the Court of Law would make its own determination. And I need to clarify that I think Mr. Mjegula has said the case started now in January 2025, whilst Ms. Mgangatho was employed here in February 2022, just before my arrival, Executive Mayor, because I came here in July 2022. I just need to clarify that. Thanks, Executive Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, CFO. I think it was good for you to say after, because there's this narrative that is outside there. Thanks, CFO, for that point. Actually, this point that he was raising is not only on issues that relate to media, even on other issues that relate to service delivery. That is why we're talking about a change. We are going to even change the culture issues here in this institution. So thank you for that point. It was very important. The issue of how long are we going to stop raising the fact that Grahamstown is the oldest? We are not going to stop until we make a significant progress. Because this city, in fact, do your homework. Just check all the old city, their status as far as infrastructure concerned. To an extent, we are pushing a submission to the office of the president and the premier that this old city must be adopted by the premier and the presidents, because the infrastructure there we cannot cope, and it needs more serious injection, as the CFO was saying earlier on. So the reality is that it's going to be in our vocabulary every day until we make a significant progress around it. It's a history. They say use history to navigate and plan for the future. You use it as a reference. I'm making a reference about the history, that this city is old. That's where we are. So we will still continue to talk about it, ma'am. I think CFO responded to that point, but there's a point that was raised which was close to what you were raising, the vetting part. That does it mean the municipality does not vet to an extent? I mean, if you are charged, there's nothing criminal that will come if you are charged. Let's say you are charged on January, and for something that happened in 2022, obviously in between that it will never come in, because for you to be in the register of whatever criminal register, firstly you must be charged and be put in the scrutiny in terms of the court process. Even when you are charged, you are not a criminal. You are saying journalism is about facts. Have you ever came to these people to find their own story to balance the facts? No. You're right. So to me, it's not a question of we are viewing that we are pushing a particular narrative, but we're simply saying it's always important to get the second thoughts about the story, a balancing story. A balancing story. We are not going to write good about us because we are not buying a bread to eat. We are not. So we are not going to be in favor because we are bringing the bread. Importantly, yes. But mostly important, you will have a chance, Mr. Jagula, no problem. So the example that I'm talking about is that you will always want to make sure that you present something that will make sense to your citizen. But it will never make sense totally when the second thoughts are not there. It remains meaningless. It will never be meaningful. And the reality is that we need to have the reality. We need to have a meeting with Robert May and we sit down, because we can't have this thing where we see things on the meeting and when we check on our side, nobody has been consulted around these issues. So that's why we value you as our local paper. We love you. We are part of you. However, balance the story. That's where we are.
Thank you very much, Speaker. There can never be a tomorrow without a yesterday. Speaker is correct. History will always have an impact on challenges of today. So we'll always make reference to the years of this city. I think, Mr. Mjekula, we have responded to these questions, as you have said that you will give you have 2 rounds. I have taken note of the request from these 2 houses. I'll give them that opportunity of giving them as you have requested. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're gonna do the one-on-ones now. But Mr. Mjekula, as the speaker said, we need to engage, because clearly there's a need to engage. So let's leave this for that platform.
A certain organization has applied for a strike on Wednesday, the 26th of February, and the strike has been approved by the speaker and the municipal as a whole. So they are aware of the strike, and the strike must take place. However, they do say that the strike is not a Makana problem, more than a national problem, because that there are certain groups outside of Makana that will come and join the strike. That will be seen then. My name is Siposeto Zono for Sizo Media in Makanda.